Hi guys, it's Carrie with Happy Fish Tarot. I am going to talk with you about something today that would be easier for me to just keep to myself, but it's something that's been coming up a lot for me personally lately, and it's also something that I've had a few conversations with clients of mine about, and so I felt like it would be a worthwhile topic to make a video about and bring into a conversation with you guys. Before I get into the meat of what I want to talk about today, I have to tell you I'm sitting on the floor filming on my phone. I just moved into a new house, and the reason I'm on the floor at the moment, I was going to sit in my office chair, but I'll show you what's currently happening in my office chair. Oh, look at my babies cuddling in my chair. So, on and off, throughout basically my entire life, I have had periods of time where I feel more disconnected from myself. For a long time, I wondered if maybe I did have some form of mild depression or mild anxiety or something along the mental health spectrum, and it's possible that I do. I haven't been diagnosed with anything. I haven't sought that out on a formal level. But the more that I've gotten to know myself and the more that I've gone through these periods of feeling that kind of disconnected sensation, the more that I've realized that for me, it's, I believe, more of a spiritual thing. It's just part of the journey that I'm on. It used to be the case that when I had these phases where I was feeling sort of lethargic and sort of just not quite myself and having a hard time kind of tapping into my more kind of robust, vital nature, I used to try to handle this by trying to fix the problem or trying to avoid the problem, trying to deny that the situation was even happening. I think especially now that I am in a profession where I give people advice and encouragement and people rely on me to be sort of a beacon of wisdom, I guess in some sense, it sometimes becomes even more difficult because I want to make sure that I am able to get myself through the hard times so that I can give that guidance to my clients and to the people who read my blogs and watch my videos. And many of the clients that I've been speaking with lately, and even just many friends and colleagues that I talk with, are similar to me in that we all hang out in this online culture where we talk about spirituality and we talk about self-development and personal growth, and we talk about being authentic and tapping into happiness. And I think when we hang out in this particular realm online, it becomes even more difficult for us to navigate our own phases where we're feeling disconnected from ourselves, because we start to have sometimes even embarrassment or sometimes shame about what is happening. I think one of the reasons for that is there's kind of these prevalent concepts in the community sometimes that happiness is a choice, and that if you're not happy that you're a low vibe person or something like that. So it can make the periods of disconnect even worse because we feel guilty or ashamed about having the periods of feeling disconnected. I have a desire that I think a lot of us share in common to feel expansive and to feel like I'm growing and I'm learning and I'm evolving and I'm open to lessons. But the truth is that periods of expansion are necessarily balanced out by periods of contraction. And this is how I've come to look at it when I do have a phase where I'm feeling more disconnected than usual, that I'm going through that period of contraction for a reason, and that it's a part of a larger trajectory. And in the larger trajectory, we're still growing and we're still progressing, but those periods of feeling like we're stagnating or feeling like we're stuck or feeling like we're not quite in tune with ourselves the way that we really want to be are important and have lessons to teach us. It can be hard to see those lessons when you're in the grasps of feeling disconnected and feeling isolated. But the more that I've gone on and the more that I've really observed my own path, the more that I truly believe that those periods are important and that they do have value and that they do have contributions to the overall spectrum of my spiritual development and of my development just as a human being on this planet. If you can relate to this, and if you may even indeed be in a phase of where you're feeling more disconnected as you're watching this video, there's a few things I want to express to you that are my beliefs, my personal opinion. One is it's nothing to feel guilty or ashamed about. You don't need to try to hide it. It doesn't make you any less spiritual. It doesn't make you any less of a positive person. It doesn't mean that you're doing something wrong. The guilt and the shame only makes these periods worse. So I would ask you to try to give yourself permission to release the guilt and release the shame. I would also tell you that probably more so than you might realize, you're truly not alone when you're in these phases. Feeling disconnected is something that happens to many of us in waves, and I think the thing is that it's sort of unpleasant to talk about, and it might not get as much discussion, and it might not be something that you even necessarily know that other people are going through. But it's part of the human experience, it's part of the human journey. And if you are feeling disconnected, I think it could help for you to know that other people have felt the same way. Other people have moved through feeling the same way, and it doesn't have to be something that you have to go through completely in a sense of isolation. I would also say that these periods generally do not last an extremely long time. I think that's where it becomes a very delicate line to walk with perhaps the fact that some people truly do have mental health issues versus having more of a normal period of feeling disconnected. So I'm not trying to claim that this applies to you if you truly do suffer from depression or suffer from a condition of sorts, but rather if you're just going through the kind of existential angst and the existential disconnect that comes sometimes with simply being a human. And luckily for most of us, the contraction or the disconnection periods, they will pass in time. So I think sometimes we have this sense that we want to try to solve things and we want to try to move things very quickly, especially when we're in that period of feeling uncomfortable or feeling a little bit down. And sometimes it can help. Sometimes there are proactive things we can do and solutions that we can come to. But other times we have to just kind of be with where we are, and we have to just trust that timing will happen as it should, and that we'll move into a period of expansion when the timing is right. As for me personally, I am happy to report that I am now feeling more myself. I'm feeling more connected, and that was why I decided to make this video now, because I wanted to wait until I got to the point where I felt really comfortable and I felt that I had some solid ground to stand upon to talk to you guys about this. And I kind of already said this earlier, but I just want to say once again that if you are going through one of these phases where you're feeling more disconnected, just know that there are people who understand, and there are people who would empathize with you and would connect with you and would listen. Sometimes listening is really the best thing we can do, don't you think? And of course, there's so much more that I could say about this, but I'm going to leave it there for now. Thank you guys for watching, and I'm sending only all of the best energy to you, and I will speak with you again soon. Bye-bye.